Hello everyone, this is Kayla with the Coopersville Area District Library here with another craft night for you. And today we will be making these super adorable little paper pie garland, which would be a perfect addition to your Thanksgiving decor or Christmas or whatever other day you want to eat pie. Honestly, for me, any day is a good day for pie. But with that, we will get started. I'll let you know in the next section what materials you'll need, and I hope you enjoy making this with me. So the materials you will need for this craft are a glue gun. You will need scissors. I have my trusty little gingerbread man scissors here. A ruler. You will need a pencil. I don't have one just because I pre-cut out my shapes, but that will help you draw out your shapes before you cut them. You will need at least one cotton ball. It depends on how many and what kind of pies you're making, but one should work for me today. And then you'll need construction paper in different colors. I have brown, which I used a different time when I made pecan pies. I will not be using that today, but that is an option, just so you know. I've got this brown color, kind of more light brown tannish color, and that's going to be what I use for my crust. And then I also have red, because my lattice pie that I'll be showing you how to make today will be cherry or whatever other red kind of pie you want to make. I've also used blue before for blueberry, but it's really up to you, whatever colors you want to make. And then I don't have scraps, but I do have orange paper because I'm making the pumpkin pie, which, by the way, is the easiest pie to make because it's literally just a triangle with no lattice on it. The lattice is the hardest part of this whole thing. And then you will need some twine for however long you want to make, depends on how many you make or how far apart you want to space them. And then just a normal school glue stick for gluing your lattice on. So with that, we will start. I have already cut out my pieces. So you'll see here I have 4 triangles because I am just going to end up making, I'll show you one, but in the end I'll have 2 of each just to make it a little more, a fuller garland there. But it really doesn't matter what size your triangles are as long as they look like a piece of pie. Mine ended up, I think they're just under 4 inches across. But again, it really doesn't matter as long as they're all the same size. It works. And then once you do one, you can draft it out or you can find a template, but once you do one, you can just trace it to make the rest of them. So I have 2 pumpkin and 2 cherry pies, and I'm going to show you the pumpkin pie first because it is super easy. So I will take one of my orange triangles there. Now all you need for this one is your orange triangle. I also pre-cut out my lattices and my crusts. Again, it doesn't really matter. I think my crusts ended up being, I just made them twice. They're about 7.5 inches because mine wasn't about 4 inches across. And then they are just under 1 inch wide. You can eyeball this. It really doesn't matter. And same with the lattices. It really doesn't matter what length they are. And I just made them, I think about, let me see here. They're just about 1 centimeter across. The length doesn't matter because we're just going to chop them later anyway, but we don't need those right now for the pumpkin. So what you're going to do is take one of your crust pieces, so one of the ones that's wider, like I said, mine's about 1 inch and about 7.5 inches wide, just so it's about twice the length of that, and we are just gonna accordion fold it. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I just kind of eyeball the width when I do the fold, so they're same on each of my pies, but see, once you do it, you just fold it back and forth. You're just kind of lining them up every time you fold it. Doesn't need to be perfect because pie crusts usually aren't perfect. At least mine aren't. Some of you might be better bakers than me, but my pie crust, you just kind of, I do the one where you just squish it down with a fork, and my cooking strategy is as long as it tastes good, I don't really care what it looks like. These ones, when I'm crafting, I'm a little more exact, but not really. And see, I just have a little bit, let me get my camera, a little bit extra on the end. I'm just gonna chop that off so it's even. And then once you do that, you're just gonna kind of unfold it. I like it so my ends are down, just so it kind of looks more, you know, pie crusty, I guess. What you're gonna do is just kind of, you know, finagle a little bit so it lays nicely on your pie there. Let me get more in frame here for you. And then you're just gonna take your hot glue gun and you are just gonna put a line of glue down the top, and actually being a little bit squiggly actually helps it stick better. And then you're just going to take that, just put it on there. And it already looks like a pie. But as everyone knows, the best part about pumpkin pie is the whipped cream. So you can do just a whole cotton ball in there, but I'm going to try to save some material just because I borrow a lot of this from Mrs. Tagg's children's closet. So I am just going to rip it in half because in real life I would absolutely drown this in whipped cream, but this isn't real whipped cream anyway, so I don't need a ton. So I'm just going to squirt some hot glue on there and stick that right in the middle, and there you go. There's a pumpkin pie. Super easy, but it looks absolutely adorable. So we will put that one aside for now. And then I will show you how to make the lattice pie. So like I said, mine is, let's call this one cherry, just because it's red, but the color's up to you. I've made some blue ones. They're super cute. You can make some lighter peachy one if you like peach pie. It is completely up to you. But with this one, we are going to start with our lattice pieces. So these are my thinner strips here. Same color as the crust because it is a crust. It's just a lattice crust. What we're going to do with these is we are just going to kind of diagonal on there. And I like to start at the point just so you get a good starting spot. And you're just going to kind of eyeball how big you need it. I like cutting a little extra because you can always cut it off at the end. But I am just going to take that, stick some glue on there from my glue stick, and I'm just going to make sure I get the sides there. You're just going to put it on there as an angle. It really doesn't matter what kind of angle you start with as long as you follow that. Make sure I'm getting my edges. Just make sure. Ooh, I'm having trouble with this one. As long as you get it all the way across, you are fine. And there we have one. So I'm going to do another one about, one width of the strip across. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it again, cut a chunk off. Get my glue out and glue that one right on there. And you're just going to keep doing the same thing all across. I never really stopped to count how many strips I needed across, so I always just cut more than you need because it's always good to have extra. And you can use all of these you don't have to cut them out for each pie if you're making lattice pies. You just cut out a bunch, then you have them ready when you're ready to go. So that was one strip. So I'm going to think it's probably going to take about 4 of these strips to do the whole pie because we're going to go back across the other way and they get longer as you go up. Just stick some more glue. Just keep going, and I'm just kind of eyeballing how far apart they are. That one is just too short, so I'm going to get another strip, cut it, stick some glue on there. Just that. And it's nice because you can use your little itty bitty pieces that you cut off of other ones to kind of finish it off. That one there. Again, I'm just making sure I got my lines lined up so they're about straight. So there's half of it. And then we're just going to go back and do the other side. And I'm just seeing my pieces here to see if I can make them work. But you're pretty much just going to square it off with the ones you've already done. Don't know if that makes sense, but you kind of just, you're making squares like a lattice. Like if you're making a real pie. If you've never made a real pie, just follow along or look up a picture. But you were just going across, and I'm actually just going to use the edge of that previous one to square it off. And then we're just going to keep going like we did before. We're just going in the other direction, and you kind of just want to make little squares there. That one. See, if you do it right, you end up with a square. And again, my pieces are getting too short, so I'm just grabbing another strip, seeing how long I need to make it, trimming it, putting some glue on there, and just keep going. Here's another row of squares there. I think I'm going to need another one because it's getting longer this way. I think that would be my last one there. There's that one there, and as you can see, it looks latticey. It's a little messy because I left those long edges on there just to make sure I got coverage all the way to the end. What you're going to do, I'm just going to push those down, make sure they stick. It's kind of stuck to the table, so I'm just going to peel it up. All you're going to do is you're going to flip it over, and you're just going to cut along the edge of your triangle there to get all the extra off. So just follow the line of your triangle all the way around. Get all those extra lattice pieces off. And this is a sticky project. You end up getting glue on your hands from all the glue stick, but that is okay. And there you go. So there's the lattice done. And then what we're going to do for the crust is just the same thing we did for the pumpkin pie. So we got that. There we go, our little lattice piece. We're going to take one of our thicker, like I said, mine's about 1 inch long pieces, and we're just going to accordion fold it to be about the same width fold as our last one. You can just eyeball it. Even if they aren't exactly the same, this ends up looking super cute. So we are just going to fold that back and forth accordion style. Mine is far from perfect, but it is going to look fine in the end. And again, I have some little extra tail there, so I am just going to chop it off because this is not an exact science. I'm going to kind of squish it to get a better fold on there. And then once again, we're just going to kind of stretch it out a bit till it's about the width of our pie. Take our hot glue, put a line of glue on there. Mine's not cooperating today. There we go. Put a line of hot glue on there and stick it right on there. Now with this one too, you could put another half of a cotton ball on there if you wanted whipped cream on there, but these ones look fine without it. I saved all my little cotton balls for my pumpkin pie, but that is the lattice pie. As you can see, it's really not as difficult as it looks and ends up looking super adorable. But those are the two I'll show you how to make today. Like I said, you can use different colors, you can experiment with different textures, it's up to you. But that is what I'm going to show you for this section. I am going to make two more, and then I'll be back to show you how to put them on your string or your ribbon to make the garland. All right, through the power of movie magic, I now have two of each because I made some more off screen. And again, you can make however many you want. You can make all the different colors you want, but just for the purposes of this video, I made 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my twine or my ribbon or whatever string you have, just cut off a good length. Again, it's always better to have it longer than shorter because you can always cut it or use that extra length to tie it. This is probably much longer than I need, but we're going to work with it. And the best way to center it, just take your thing, your string, your twine, whatever ribbon, fold it in half, and then that's going to be your center point. So if you work out from there, and I am just going to lay it right there so I know where it is. And the length you put between these is really up to you. I've used random things I found. Like one time I used a calculator and I was just like, it's one calculator width apart. Or if you want to get really fancy, you can always just measure it. Or if you're not a perfectionist, you can always eyeball it. So, but what I'm going to do is I think I'm just going to measure. So that's my middle point. Let's say I want them 4 inches apart. Might be good. That's about the width of one pie. So I'm going to go 2 out from that center because the other one's going to be 2 the other way to make it 4. I'm just going to mark that again with my finger. And then what you're going to do to put them on there is just lay them out the way you want them to. It's a little hard because I'm trying to keep my mark there, but and you're just going to take it, flip your pie over, and just put a line of glue along the back there. And you will probably end up burning your fingers at this point. Just because, unless you're better at this than I am, I say the best way to do is just kind of take it and lay it on there. But you also kind of want to squish it down to make sure it gets a good hold. So this is the part where you might burn yourself. I'm sure there's somebody out there who's made something to like put on your fingers to protect yourself when you're using hot glue, but I have not found it yet. But whoever they are is a genius, and they probably should be very rich. Just because I feel like this has been a problem ever since hot glue guns existed. But there's that one. You know, don't flip it over because you don't want it to stick to your table. Just start, get all your glue cobwebs out of the way, and just do the next one. So I'm just going to do, there's another 4 inches, so that's where the edge of my next one's going to go. Put a line of glue on that one. I'm doing it kind of off screen here just because I'm trying to work with one hand, but you should get the idea. Put a line of glue on there. Take your string again. And do the same thing. Just kind of squish it on there. Get a good hold. Blowing on hot glue does help it dry a little faster, but so this is where I started in the middle because that one's already on there. We can just go another 4 inches from the edge, just because I'm trying to evenly space them. And this one is a red one, so I'm going to go with the pumpkin pie again, because I'm just doing in every other pattern, but it's up to you. Put a line of glue, and I am actually running low here. I did bring, there it is, my extra stick of glue. I got distracted there, so I'm going to measure my width out again. That's 4 inches there. And your glue on the back of these doesn't need to be super neat because this part is going to be against the wall or the window or wherever you decide to hang these. So there it is. Do the same thing. Squish it down a bit, get a good hold. And do the same with your next one. And just keep going until it's as long as you want it or as long as you need it. Really just depends on how many pies you want to make or how much area you want to cover with your garland, but there we go. Get another line of glue, and mine needs some help. Glue guns are great for what they do, but they're pretty temperamental, and I gotta work quick here because hot glue dries very quickly, which is what makes it helpful, but again, sometimes isn't always the best. So just squish that last one down. And I would give it some time to dry, but just for the sake of the video, I'm gonna pick mine up. And I kind of try to get it, but this is what you get here, a cute little banner. It'd be great for Thanksgiving. You can keep it around till Christmas. If you're the kind of person I like hanging out with, you can keep it all year, because all year is pie time. It'd also be super cute. You can make like a pizza one for a birthday party, or you could even just do it with different colors and make little flags. But that is it. That's the craft. Again, they're usually easier than they look. You just gotta learn how to do them. But this one is super impressive, super easy, super adorable, and I hope you enjoy making it.